Hey, everybody. It is day 2 of the US-Canada portion of the summit, and I'm so excited for you guys to join us. I have back our incredible speakers from yesterday. They are back for more. Frank and Lisa, Frank Sinclair and Lisa Sinnott. They are an incredible duo with Be Encouraged with Frank and Lisa. They're going to talk with us today about building resilience, our pathway to wholeness. And if you guys didn't catch the last one, I highly encourage you to check out the replay. But just so you know a little bit about Frank and Lisa, they are joining us from Colorado Springs, Colorado, United States. And they are the hosts of the weekly podcast and radio show, Be Encouraged with Frank and Lisa. This amazing show provides stories and insights on how to overcome challenges and achieve goals. Frank is also the Chief Encouragement Officer at Dream Again Business Consulting. And Lisa is a Chief Resilience Officer at Innovate Success. She empowers teams to build resilience and confidently navigate whatever comes next in business. So thank you so much for joining us, Frank and Lisa. I'm going to give you guys the floor to talk with us about resilience and its pathway to wholeness.
Well, thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
How's Lisa Sinnott this morning?
Fabulous. I got my tea, ready to roll.
He's fabulous, I hear you. And Valerie has the hairdo going. And stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, rocking it like she means it. We're so happy to talk about resilience this morning. Lisa's giving me the opportunity to start us off this morning to Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa. We want to make sure you know we want you on our show. So you're somewhere international, around the country, reach out to us and come on and let people know how incredible you are. That's my promo for this morning, Valerie. And now we'll move into resilience.
I love it.
Let me read something to you guys. I don't know if you knew this, but in case you've already forgotten what the pandemic was like, allow me to refresh your memory. Fear of death suddenly swept the world. Death unseen and unpredictable. Death by plague. In a matter of weeks, we found ourselves in various forms of quarantine and lockdown. Schools, churches, and businesses all closed their doors. The economy reeled. Everything that makes for a joyful, normal life was taken from us in a moment and withheld for many, many months. Follow me closely now. To be suddenly stripped of your normal life, to live under the fear of suffering and death, to be bombarded with negative news, kept in a state of constant uncertainty about the future, with no clear view of the finish line, and to lose every human countenance behind a mask. May I point out that this is exactly the torment that terrorist regimes use to break down prisoners psychologically and physically. This is what you and I have experienced in the last few years together. Lisa?
So the question is not whether we will be extremists, but what kind of extremists we will be. Will we be extremists for hate or for love? Will we be extremists for the preservation of injustice or for the extension of justice? In that dramatic scene on Calvary's Hill, 3 men were crucified. We must never forget that all 3 were crucified for the same crime, the crime of extremism. 2 were extremists for immorality and thus fell below their environment. The other, Jesus Christ, was an extremist for love, truth, and goodness, and thereby rose above his environment. And that was by Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes. And we are going to introduce our resilience piece this morning, Miss Sinnott, as we go in and talk about it. That with a backdrop of where people are today and are still feeling the effects of the pandemic, and our country, our world is in such a divisive nature right now as well. Take it away, Lisa.
All right. So I'm going to start us out talking about understanding resilience. The defining what resilience is, discussing the impact of resilience. So talking about hope and how it motivates can help you bounce back. And yesterday we had talked about not only bouncing back, but, not looking in that rear view mirror, right? Hope initiates and sets you free to dream, and it activates and fuels the world to make it a better place. So when we talk about resilience, resilience is the ability to adapt, recover, and grow stronger from adversity, challenges, or setbacks. It involves maintaining a positive outlook, staying focused on goals, leveraging resources and support systems to overcome obstacles. So, what is the significance for you to sustain performance each day? The first is adaptability. So, resilient people can navigate change and uncertainty effectively, making them better equipped to lead teams through transitions or crises. Emotional stability. Resilience helps people manage stress, maintain composure, and make rational decisions, which inspires confidence and trust among team members. And number 3 is the role modeling. By demonstrating resilience, you can set a positive example, encouraging everyone around you to adopt similar behaviors and mindsets in the face of their challenges, in the face of your challenges, right? And 4th is sustained performance. Resilient people are more likely to sustain performance over time as they bounce back from setbacks without losing their momentum. And number 5 is the innovation. Resilience fosters a growth mindset, allowing everyone to feel or to view the failures that they may be coming up against as learning opportunities, which can drive innovation and continuous improvement in their life. In essence, resilience for all of us is crucial for navigating the complexities of the modern world, ensuring long-term success and well-being, both for you and everyone around you.
Indeed, it is. And we talk about Michelle Ramos. Thank you for your comments down there, the things that you're going through. Martin Luther King Jr. was a hero of mine, and I think certain of his quotes are apropos for our subject this morning. So let me share a few of those with you. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. You say, what's that got to do with resilience? Everything. Because your mind, the framing of your mind, your thoughts, and the way that you're thinking, and the positivity that you're bringing to earth, and the love that you're exuding and pushing out to humanity makes all the difference. See, he's also said life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you going to do for others? I find I'm most resilient when I'm not thinking about Frank. When I'm thinking about how am I going to infuse hope and encouragement and other positive things into humanity. He also said the time is always right to do what is right. And this is one of my favorite quotes of all time. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Isn't that the truth? And I tell you, resilient people, we find, I think Lisa would agree with me here, we find resilient people are people that are able to forgive quickly, move on, and not make every situation about themselves. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. And no wonder we aren't seeing a lot of that happening, because people aren't trying to love one another. And we are totally bought into the fact, into the possibilities that love can still happen between human beings. Yes. So, Lisa, you read all of those significant resilient pieces: adaptability, emotional stability, role modeling, sustained performance, and innovation. I think you have a couple of examples of people who have role modeled that for the world. Can you share that with us, please?
Yes, absolutely. So one of my favorite is from Nelson Mandela. Resilience in adversity. He speaks on that. Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, is a prime example of resilience. He spent 27 years in prison for his fight against apartheid, enduring harsh conditions and isolation. Despite these hardships, he emerged with an unbroken spirit, ready to lead South Africa towards reconciliation and equality. And what kind of impact on leadership and everyone who saw this? Mandela's resilience allowed him to lead South Africa through a peaceful transition from apartheid to democracy, becoming a global symbol of forgiveness, strength, and the power of resilience in leadership.
Wow. Nelson Mandela, what an example. I think, what was that, 27 years in prison?
Yeah.
My word. And
Imagine.
came, yeah, if that's not an example, I don't know what is. I'd also like to, we believe Oprah Winfrey is an example of resilience as well. Oprah is a media mogul and a philanthropist. She faced significant challenges in life, including poverty and abuse and discrimination. Despite these obstacles, she built a highly successful career in television, eventually creating her own network and becoming one of the most influential women in the world. Her impact on leadership, Oprah's resilience, is evidence in the ability to turn personal adversity into a platform for empowering others. Her leadership style, characterized by empathy, authenticity, and determination, has inspired millions and driven her success in various ventures that she has. These leaders exemplify how resilience can empower individuals to overcome extreme challenges and lead with strength, compassion, and vision. Lisa, I believe this would be a great time because, you know, the Oprah Winfreys and the Nancy and Nelson Mandelas of the world, most people love their stories, are inspired by their stories, but can't identify with the height that they've risen to and the places that they are in life. Why don't you tell us a resilient story about Lisa Sinnott?
Goodness, Frank, put me on the spot. So I love you. You know that, right? He does this to me all the time. Resilience. I have a lot of resilient stories in my life. One big major one that I've decided to be very public about is I am twice divorced. I was married to two wolves in sheep clothing. And I didn't know it. And I thought it was all me. Everything was my fault, all the things. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I had all the self-help books. I was so determined to make everything work. Almost 19 years total marriage combined between the two. But I realized that I needed to set the example for my children and myself and not lose Lisa. So now I am actually married for the third time. I know people are like, oh my gosh, but you know, don't judge. It took a lot of courage to give my heart over to a man again and really work on past triggers. Even now, when we first got married, we're married 3 years now, but when we first got married, I quickly realized that I was almost self-sabotaging the marriage because of past traumas. So I would encourage everyone, to when it comes to being resilient, it's not just putting your best foot forward to your knowledge, but I actually have been in therapy for a year and a half now and really working on self-help and identifying triggers and traumas and really working on forgiveness, even for those two ex-husbands. No, I'm not like Frank. He's friends with his ex-wife. I am not there right now, but I am working on forgiveness for them, just as humans and all that took place. But that's my resilient journey in my love life.
You talk about me being friends with my ex-wife. I was married 20 years to my first wife, Debbie. In November 3rd will be my 18th year being married to Michelle now. And it takes two, though, Lisa. If Debbie wasn't willing to live in that space with Michelle and I of being friends and sharing our children and our grandchildren and all those things together, it couldn't happen. So so maybe one day these guys will come around and there'll be opportunity for that. I'm praying for you guys. My story of resilience as well is that I was raised in segregation in North Carolina. My schools didn't integrate until I was in 8th grade. So I had the inherent space of feeling like I was less than other human beings. Always coming up. My parents only finished 6th and 8th grade, respectively, and we worked in the tobacco fields, the cotton fields. We were sharecroppers in the South, living in abject poverty. So coming up in that really put some very bad spaces in my mind about who I was and my worth and what I had the ability to do. So growing up in that, I was a good student in school, even though I was a 4 feet 10-inch sophomore. You ladies can laugh. It's okay. I've had therapy already. But I'm 5'9" now, Valerie, so I'm okay. Yes. So I didn't have much of a social life. I didn't fit in the Black community and couldn't fit in the other community. So I was isolated, and reading became my outlet in my life. I joined the Air Force when I was 18 because no one told me I could go to college, and ended up here in Colorado. First time I had ever had a white friend in my entire life is when I was an 18-year-old in Colorado. My life changed. People saw my value, gave me opportunities, mentored me, spent 8 years in the Air Force, but my background caught up with me again. And I think this is the part of resilience that I'm talking about, because sometimes our background and our trauma in our past lives have been so heavy that they're just sitting in a holding pattern, waiting to emerge to sabotage our lives and our opportunities and etc., which is exactly what happened to me. The messages in my mind were, Frank, you're a fraud. They're going to find you out. You know you don't deserve this. Who do you think you are? So at 26 years old, I sabotaged my Air Force career, and it ended. And came back to Colorado just on a wild hair, and became a homeless guy on the streets here in Colorado Springs, because that's what I really thought my worth was about. 6 months into my homelessness, this guy walking through the park where all of us homeless people would just hang out every day and sleep, he stopped by and asked me to tell my story. I did, and he took me home with him. And it absolutely changed my life, that one person could look beyond the obvious and give me an opportunity and see some worth in me. Changed my whole perspective about who I was. 1 year later, I was the chief of the fuels division for Raytheon at the Air Force Academy. So my life flipped on a dime and things changed. And all three of my adult children are C-suite executives in business today, doing incredible work around the world. And the reason resilience, do you agree with this, Lisa? Resilience typically comes with the help of others.
Yes.
It's with the support of other people. We say, oh, just buckle up, be resilient, grit your teeth, work your way to it. No,
No. Yeah, if I didn't go through therapy, and have those, I have two therapists. I'm special, but literally
She
two
is special.
But if I didn't have them, I would not be where I'm at. Like a year and a half ago, internally, I looked great on the outside. I was like a duck on water, doing the things. But inside, I was just crumbling, and I knew it. And I identified that, but I needed to reach out for help. And, my two ex-husbands wrecked me for therapy, actually. And that's why I said I'd never, ever, ever go to therapy. But I did. I finally reached out, and I'm like, you know what? If I find a bad one, I'll just find a good one. Like I can do this. And I did. I found two great ones. But yes, that's so huge to reach out for help, for a tribe. You need to find your tribe.
You do. And you've been so instrumental in my tribe in the last few years that you and I have had the opportunity to walk the journey of resilience together to help other people. And I think I told her to start calling herself the Chief Resilience Officer, because she has a forward-facing ability to create space for other humans in a real magnificent way. You need to reach out to Lisa Sinnott, by the way.
Thank you, Frank.
And have her come in and speak at your things and stuff. Lisa, I wanted to talk real quickly because we kind of got ahead. I don't know if we spoke too fast or what happened. You notice I'm filling in here, right? Are you checking it out? Right?
Yeah.
I got resilience in this meeting today, right?
I knew it. I see that, but that's cool.
It is cool. We're on the fly, Valerie. Check this out.
Frank and I are always on the fly, to be honest. Even if we have a script, people try to come on our show and they ask, they bring papers to try to cover their content, and we just laugh because I'm just like, it's so not going to happen.
I love that about you guys.
Don't bring your stuff.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have permission to tell this story as well. My youngest daughter was a 6-year meth addict, and she had a baby she was 22. She had a baby. Her name is Truly Grace. She just turned 14 years old, and she had a condition called failure to thrive. And I know we attach this to many babies that grow slower. They're much smaller than an average baby, special diets and all those type things, and etc. But that term is what resilience is all about today, Lisa, is because so many people in community are failing to thrive. They have the FTT, failure to thrive, and it's a term used to describe inadequate growth and the inability to maintain growth, usually in early childhood. It's also a sign of undernutrition, and because many biologic, psychological, and environmental processes can lead to undernutrition, it should never be a diagnosis unto itself. In other words, we have a lot of people in community that have inadequate growth. There's failure to thrive in the spaces that they are. This is why resilience is so incredibly important, because they're not thriving in the space of their life design. I'm always telling people, no one is energized to do things that they weren't designed to do. That's right. And that's why most people hate their jobs. They hate their circumstances because they're in places that they're not designed to be in. Until you find what you're designed to do, you need to be looking for it. And is it a painful journey? Yes, it is. It is very hard to uncover your purpose and the reason for being on earth. But it's so worth it, because then you can give back to humanity the things that you were put here to give. And that is we need people doing that, don't we, Lise?
Yes, it's so important. I meet with so many people, have, over coffee and just unpacking what they want to do for their business, all the things. And sometimes I know inside, okay, this is not for them, but I don't say it because I know that they're on their own journey. Frank, you were very graceful with me all through the years. I mean, we've been networking for 9 years now, I think, in the city. And, back when I was doing other things, business development, that's like a cakewalk for me. I couldn't believe I was being paid to do that from other companies. It was so easy. And I was like, why is this so easy? And everyone else would have such a hard time with business development. But that was a piece of my calling. And now I'm in my calling. And when I finally realized and came together with Frank and collaborated and unified and partnered together, it was like, oh my gosh, why didn't we do this from the beginning? But I wasn't ready. Yeah. Like I had to realize I had to go through my journey. I had to go through the pain points of business with different people over me in leadership and, all the things. There's a reason why people become entrepreneurs and don't have a boss over them. I'm definitely meant to be the CEO of my company, as you are, Frank, right?
Exactly. Bad bosses make great entrepreneurs. So, right. Yeah. So being resilient in those places that we are. I just saw Michelle make a note again about systemic injustice. Michelle, I want to say this directly to you this morning. And I think it's very important to you and anyone else that's listening this morning. If you want to level up your life, there's 3 things that you have to do. No one gets away from not doing this. Is absolutely essential. Number 1, you have to take 100% responsibility for your own movement. 100%. The first step is acknowledging, is dropping any blame that you're holding against other people and taking responsibility for your own results. Once you remove fingers to point to anyone else, then you are in the position to actually grow. I want to make sure that people get that. You need to grow. And no one else can do that for you. And if you put barriers and roadblocks, I'm not saying these things aren't real. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, your growth is your responsibility. And it makes sure that you take it. She says, absolutely. Accountability allowed me to apologetically advocate. Yes, I love you, Michelle Ramos. You're awesome. By the way, number 2, if you're going to level up, you need to ask for help. If you're going to try to do this stuff alone and try to reach the place of resilience by yourself, then you're going to have a very frustrating journey. You have to get a tribe of people, and you attract the type of people that you are, not the type of people that you want to be.
That's right. Say that again, Frank. Say that again.
You attract the type of people that you are, not the type of people that you want to be. And that's just it, and that makes us look inward, right, Lisa? So that we see our own hearts, our own lack, our own gaps, so that we can feel those and help other people. And lastly,
wait. I got to say one thing on that, Frank. Okay. It just is ringing in my head. You reap what you sow, right? Yes. It truly, even on the back end, when people are not watching you, you reap what you sow. And I'm always telling my kids, everything that happens for a reason, but your decisions on a day-to-day basis will create your destiny to the next thing that's going to happen in your life.
Yes. Daily basis is what I'm talking about. So get your hair done like Valerie and Lisa. Stand up strong. Come out, be forward face, and be confident in your space.
Put your best foot forward and your best face forward.
And the last point of the 3 steps to leveling up your own life, take action on what you're learning. here's the deal with humans, man. They will confuse the things they know with the things that they did. It doesn't matter how smart, how much information, how much intake you're having with information if you're not finding a creative way to make that actionable in your life.
Yes. Say it.
Take
That was so good. I love that.
Right? Yeah, what good is that doing? And then you're just, you know more. You know, I can Google that.
You know what, Frank? So I'll say this about Chat GPT, AI, all the things. People are so good right now at regurgitating that information, but are you living it?
Mm.
I have seen people where they say it and it just doesn't resonate with the people. And why is that? It's because truly they're not living that, exactly what you were talking about.
Yes.
You got to live it, breathe it, exude it, do it.
Yes, and yes, Lisa. That's why we love Valerie so much. Valerie is a representation of the things that she's representing. All right? You're awesome.
You guys. Oh, yeah. Love it.
I got to say one more thing. I forgot to share this one piece. It's about synergy with love and resilience.
Yes.
So love and resilience complement each other in everyone by fostering a compassionate and supportive environment where everyone can care deeply about the people in their lives, well-being and growth, truly caring about their well-being and growth. This combination empowers everyone, that includes you, to navigate challenges with empathy and strength, creating a culture of trust and collective perseverance. And the benefit of integrating both of these principles will give you stronger relationships, enhanced morale at home, at work, all the things, improved conflict resolution, and increased engagement with friends, family, and sustainable success in your life.
Sustainable success. And here's a great thing about success is you get to define what that means for you. Right? Don't let other people take that from you and go, this is successful. Stop looking at people that are in certain spaces and comparing your chapter 2 to their chapter 20. Right? So, yeah, that is not a good space. It would jack you up. So, right, it will. Hey, Lisa, I wanted to tell people that because we keep talking about relationships here, we're building strong relationships in this community you guys are looking at us in. And it's so awesome because these people align with our hearts. And I get so excited about seeing them and hearing from them and the stuff that we're doing today. Here's 5 relationships that we all need. Number 1, we need vision casters in our lives, people that cast big vision and help us to see big things, help us to see much greater things than we can see in ourselves. Yes. We need vision casters. Number 2, we need soul sharpeners. I don't know where people are all over the place as far as spirituality thing is. We're not preaching to you today or telling you have to believe like we believe, but you need some type of spiritual influence in your life because this is just real part of life. To deny that would be putting your head in the sand. Number 3, we need models and mentors. I have 3 to 6 people in my life at all time that model things that I really need in my own life to do. And people that can mentor me. Don't ever think that you arrive. Nobody arrives. We're always learning and finding new stuff and finding people that are real much stronger in places than we are. Yes. That's why Lisa and I get along so well, is because, we align almost in everything that we do, but she has some strengths, boy, that I suck at, right? And I'm like, I'm so glad she's in my life because she's so awesome there, right? And I think vice versa, right? Yeah. And number 4, you need heart healers. It's impossible to overemphasize the immense need people have to be listened to be taken seriously, to be understood. No one can develop freely in this world and find a full life without feeling understood by at least one other person. The great Dr. Paul Tournier said that, and it is so true. You have people that understand you and your quirkiness and your just craziness, because all of us have a little craziness.
Oh, totally.
Right. And the last thing we need, I call it tail kickers or butt kickers. We need someone that'll kick our butt and say, you know what you're saying right now, what you're doing right now is not helpful for you. It's not helpful for your movement, not helpful for your life. Change, pivot, turn that around. And you need to be willing to listen to the tail kickers in your life as well.
Love it.
Yeah. So we are resilient human beings. I think, Valerie, you have anything else to throw in there, Lisa, before I do our poem that I think is so absolutely amazing that people need to hear?
No, please read.
Okay. All right. This poem is called The Cold Within. I've been doing this poem around the nation for many, many years, and it's always elicited strong emotion from people. Listen with me. 6 humans trapped by happenstance in cold, in dark and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story goes. Their dying fire in need of logs, the first one held hers back. For on the faces around the fire, she noticed one was black. The next one looked across the way, saw one not of his church, and could not bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. The third one, set in tattered clothes, he gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store, and keeping all that he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight, for all he could see in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. And the last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain. Giving just to those who gave was how he played the game. The sticks held tight in death's stiff hands was proof of human sin. They hadn't died from the cold without. They had died from the cold within. So if we are to develop resilience in our lives, we have to make sure that we don't die or allow anyone around us to die from the cold within. Have hearts that are open to others.
That was so deep. Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that. That's an incredible story. Yeah.
Back to you, Valerie.
That was his mic drop.
We need the mic drops.
Indeed.
No, it's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. And you guys, I love listening to your stories, to your resilience. And it's just every example, every analogy, it's just so timed so appropriately. And can you tell our listeners again about the hugs that you guys do? Like, I think that's so incredible too. Like, I know you shared that yesterday, but if you can, one more time. About
absolutely.
That.
So some of you may have heard around the nation, people are doing free hugs, and some people got in trouble in cities for doing it, which is odd to me. But Frank kept telling me, Lisa, we need to do this free hug thing. Our city needs it. And so I looked it up and I'm like, ooh, that's right up our alley. So we have started this free hug campaign we pop up randomly without asking permission. We've done it in hotel lobbies after big events. That last one was for mental health. It was really powerful. The best one that I love is in front of City Hall. People are going into the court, about to go to court. Their emotions are on their face, and we are out there standing with a big banner saying free hugs. And we had, I would say, about 97, 98% where people said, yes, I need a hug. And just that one moment in time for each person. I just want to share this real quick. There was this one young man, he no more than 19 years old, maybe. He told Frank, no, I don't want an effing hug. You know, he's totally and he's like, well, you know what? Eff it. I'll take a hug. So he went to Frank, gave him a quick, all right, I did it. And then he walks in. 10 minutes later, the man walks back out, brand new, lit up like a Christmas tree. Man, thank you so much. I'm so glad I did that hug. That went amazing. I mean, he just received it, right? And so that changed his whole situation going into that courthouse and coming out, a brand new young man. And he gave Frank a genuine hug after that because he's like, thank you. I needed that.
Oh, that's amazing. We all need hugs. We all do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
we can't wait to get to Chicago to hug Valerie, right?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. And go out to Colorado and need some hugs from you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's so important. And even like just with my 4-year-old, she loves hugs. I mean, oh my gosh. Like if I'm like anxious or like ruminating about something, she's just like, Mom, let's have a hug. And I'm not even saying anything. She just like wants a hug. And there's something, and I know there are studies that say like it really does regulate. It helps with both heart rates, with both mimicking. It's incredible the amount of information. And it's so simple. It's so simple. But yet now we're seeing evidence as to how these simple things can truly impact our lives.
Yes, it's a true small act of kindness and love. And most people, when we went to the mall and did it, that was a little rough, right, Frank? Because people were like, wait, what? Why would I hug you? Like, no. And then I love this one person, the mom was like, oh, no, thanks. And she kept moving on. But the daughter, she lingered and she's like, can I, Mom? And the mom's like, well, if you want to, go ahead. And, and the daughter just hugged us and she needed that. And, the mom didn't, and she was, skeptical, but her baby girl needed that love for that moment in time. And I love that we met that one girl that day.
Wow.
Yes.
One person at a time.
One person at a time.
It was so incredible. It really is. We love what we do. We love that we found our space of design and that we are rebelling against current culture and all the malice and unkindness and hatred and division that goes on in culture. We refuse to participate in that. And we want to bring as many other humans along with us as we can who say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not living in that space of angst and despair and discouragement, but I am choosing to live in a place of love and choosing to live in a place of kindness and giving.
Well, I don't know how to do it. I feel like raptor claws.
That's a beautiful heart right there. Check that out.
Oh, yeah. Heart on. Get your heart on.
Yeah. Not bad for arthritic hands.
Right.
Beautiful, you guys. I just love it. And I love that you are inspiring so many people with your incredible work. Can you please tell us, I've been putting it on the screen as well as in the chat, but tell us where we can find you, as well as I know you guys also have a couple of websites for yourself in addition to Be Encouraged at Frank and Lisa. So tell us all about it.
Absolutely. So we are all about infusing hope and encouragement throughout the whole world. We do offer free guesting. We do 30-minute interviews on Instagram Live. So if you are not in the state of Colorado, we would love to do an interview with you and sharing all the good things you are pushing out to the world. So check us out at beencouraged.net at our international interviews. And also for those of you in Colorado, we would love to do our in-person studio every Monday from 11 to 12 or 12 to 1 Mountain Standard Time in person in studio. We have a blast unpacking both personal, professional, all the things. And again, that is free guesting. And for those of you who have money, who love what we are doing, infusing hope and encouragement throughout the world, if you align with our mission, we are only funding this by sponsors. So go to beencouraged.net and sponsor us. We would love your support in doing what we do out there in the world.
Indeed. Yeah. I have a website as well, in addition to this, called dreamagainllc.com, where you can go and see some background information on me, see my coaching platform. I am the #1 encouragement coach in Colorado and empowerment coach. So we give people opportunities to discover who they are, why they are, and why anyone should care.
And
right?
he's written 3 books. You got to get Frank's
I've written
books.
3 books. Yes. Yeah.
They're on Amazon. Check them out.
Absolutely.
Can we find them on your website, Frank?
Excuse me?
Can we find those books on your website?
You can find those books on my website. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Lisa and I are going to write a book together soon as well. I don't know the question, but love is always the answer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
More love, less fear.
Yeah.
That's my
Have you written your book yet, Valerie?
It's ready. I'm now in the editing part of it. So soon.
Editing. Yeah. When's the target date for release?
Hopefully the spring of 2025. So get ready. Get ready.
Yeah. What's the name of it?
To Mom is to Love.
To Mom is to Love. Oh, it fits right with your platform.
It does. It does. As a verb. Yep. I identify with my verb as opposed to what my noun or title is, because society has expectations. I myself have expectations of what a mom should be. But if I live my verb with love, that's the only thing I can control. So it's all about that.
Yes. And everyone, by the way, go to Innovate Success for You Instagram handle so that on Monday at 9:15 Mountain Time, 10:15 Central Time, 11:15 Eastern Time, we will have Valerie on our Instagram Live recapping the week of this incredible Global Empowerment Summit that we've all been a part of, and telling us what happened and what's next.
Oh, super excited.
That's going to be amazing. Oh my gosh. This is the first time I'm hearing you're coming on. That's fabulous.
Yes.
I sent you a calendar, at least.
Yay. All right.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. It's an absolute pleasure. And thank you, everyone who are making comments. We really appreciate it. All of your feedback and all of your incredible thoughts and information. And Michelle, thank you for including all of that. And as Claudine will be on later on today. And everyone else who has been commenting, really appreciate it. Or whoever listens to the replay later on, be sure to reach out to Frank and Lisa. You guys are incredible.
You are as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.